Well, as India's fintech ecosystem evolves, at the center of it, driving the innovation, is RBI Innovation Hub. And our next guest today is Sahil Kini, the newly appointed CEO of RBI Innovation Hub. Sahil, thank you so much for taking time out for us here at the Global Fintech Festival. You've just taken over this new responsibility, but start by setting the context for us in the larger ecosystem of RBI's regulatory framework for fintechs. And there's a lot that's been said about whether it is pro-growth or whether it is inhibiting and so on and so forth. But what is the role that RBI Innovation Hub will play when it comes to fostering innovation for the fintechs of India today?
Well, thank you for having me, Ritu. The RBI Innovation Hub is a wholly owned subsidiary of the RBI. RBI has a few other subsidiaries that carry out other functions. Our charter specifically is threefold. The first is asking the question, what does India need 5 to 10 years from now? And doing applied research and building prototypes and proofs of concept around those kind of ideas. Building and scaling digital public infrastructure, new digital public infrastructure for India. And the third is ecosystem engagement. So, which is working with fintechs and startups and universities and academia and connecting them to the regulated ecosystem and bringing new ideas from the outside world into fintech. So that is our kind of threefold mandate. And we explore each of those in a fair degree of detail.
What should we expect next? I mean, what's next on the agenda after all of these? And we'll get to ULI in a bit again.
Currently, building a DPI is not a trivial exercise.
Absolutely not, no.
A lot of our focus currently is on building and scaling all of this and driving adoption. Like I said, there are frontier areas where we are conducting research, but it's not yet at a phase where I can say this is something.
No hints you can drop at the moment.
Not right now.
Okay, let's get back to Unified Lending Interface, ULI, which you said is touted as it'll be for payments for lending, what UPI has been for payments. What has the project shown you so far of the utility, and what has the experience been? Any numbers you could share?
Absolutely.
And how soon could it be scaled, more commercially across more banks?
So ULI is actually scaling quite well already. The concept here is to build a universal API gateway where every single data point that is required by a regulated entity, specifically a lender, to open an end-to-end digital loan journey is made available on a single platform. So if you look at an account opening journey, you start with KYC, then you get more data about the individual so that you can validate that person, and you get data about either the assets or the transactions of the individual so that you can underwrite and assess the credit worthiness of the individual. And there are a bunch of other checks that are carried out when this account is being opened. What we're doing is we're working with every single provider of this data to aggregate all of this onto a single platform. For example, in the case of financial inclusion, we talked about land record data being very useful for getting credit. Kisan credit card is one product, but several other kinds of loans can be unlocked by unlocking government data that is available about a person. So if I get data about from the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, then auto loans for second-hand vehicles becomes a lot easy. If I get more data that you can validate from, say, the income tax department, the personal loans can become much more secure. If we get dairy pouring data, then loans to milk cooperatives become that much more enabled. So the idea is we aggregate all these data sources onto a single platform, and we have several lenders of all stripes and sizes who come and integrate with these APIs. And it becomes a lot easier for them because instead of managing multiple vendors, they just come to ULI, and it's better for all the data providers because all the lenders are already on ULI. So we've had some very good adoption so far. We have close to 60 banks and other NBFCs that have integrated with ULI already. Well over 100 data service providers that are already on ULI. And we are in the process of scaling this even further to ensure that every cooperative bank, every regional rural bank are all on ULI and building these end-to-end digital journeys so that more and more Indians get access to credit purely digitally.
Speaking of the MuleHunter that you referred to earlier, as more and more financial services get digitized, the concern about cybersecurity risk, to what extent will something like a MuleHunter be able to solve the problem? Because, the scammers seem to always be one step ahead of the banks.
I think, when it comes to fraud detection, it is always an ongoing challenge. It's not something that you solve one time and it is done. You have to.
It's getting easier to scam with AI.
And Well, when you digitize everything and you reduce frictions for legitimate transactions, that reduction in friction applies to all kinds of transactions. So this,
including the unwanted ones.
this is the nature of those systems, and therefore it is very important that you build in security, you build in fraud detection.
Yeah.
Our MuleHunter is an AI model that
Yeah.
we've deployed in close to 20 banks so far.
Okay. What's the response been there?
We've actually had phenomenal accuracy rates. I mean, we've been able to achieve accuracy rates of close to 90% and detect about 10 times more mule accounts than traditionally were being detected through earlier methods such as rule engines, etc.
Okay.
And that's just the beginning. We want to roll it out to every single regulated entity and pair it with transaction fraud detection. So that once you have which accounts are suspicious and fraudulent, limiting transaction capabilities from that will go a long way in reducing fraud in the country.
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Sahil, for laying that out for us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks very much, and we wish you the best with these endeavors.
Thank you so much, Fit.
Thank you. On that note, we're going to have to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. We're back in just a moment with a special guest.